Now, it's no secret that America's top schools are having a hard time keeping up with the demand for STEM graduates in the workplace. Science, technology, engineering, and math are all fields where there are more jobs than there are qualified applicants. And here's the rub. It is international students studying at American universities that often excel in those same STEM classes. Yet when it comes to getting a job, joining America's workforce is getting harder and harder. So many top international graduates head home. It's a brain drain that some believe hurts our nation's economic competitiveness in this new global economy.
For Ethiopian Frignat Anya, finding her classes on the first day of school is the least of her worries.
It's not really easy for us to come here.
Anya is one of a record number of international students enrolled in U.S. colleges, and it's not an easy journey.
It's like, if you take it from just one school perspective, it's like a year process to get to a school. But if you think of it like from all the applications you do, for me it took me like 3 years to come here.
International students have to prove not only do they have the money for tuition, but the English skills to succeed in class. Dave Henneberry is the head of OSU's Wes Watkins School of International Studies and says once here, international students take full advantage of what they're offered.
Some of them come from countries where it's just a little bit harder to carve out a career than it is in the United States. And they know they've really got to have their full game on and get as qualified and learn as much as they can in school. And so that attitude and desire to progress their career is something we find just really nice to work with.
But once educated, we often lose some of the best and brightest to jobs abroad. International salaries now rival those here in the U.S., while the pathway to a U.S. job is often littered with stumbling blocks.
Yes, that's true, and I've heard from the College of Engineering that some of their graduates now are returning home to India because they're actually getting better salary offers there than they are in the United States. So we've seen a transfer where now the salary competitiveness of overseas occupations is on a par with what we're offering in the U.S. So it is an important issue. Where are these highly qualified people going to locate, and what industries will they develop and work in, and which countries will benefit from those? And I think the argument that we'd make in the university is that the country that keeps the most qualified people will have those industries.
For Mexican national and OSU graduate Rodrigo Tello, staying and working in the U.S. is a goal, but he knows it won't be easy.
To their country. And here in the U.S., I mean, we live in a multicultural society, no matter where you go. So it's good for most of the students not only hold a degree or have an international experience.
Special visas called Optional Practical Training, or OPTs, are necessary for internationals to find employment in the U.S.
It depends. I mean, it's like really a drop in a coin, and sometimes you are lucky, sometimes you are not. Sometimes you can find a job with your OPT. There's a lot of people that stays in the U.S. with an OPT status, holding a degree from an American university, and they cannot find a job, and they have to go back to their home country.
So do you have any suggestions on what you think we should do here from a policy perspective as a country?
From a policy perspective, I think that we should work with the government and industry. And if the industry requests that an individual be granted a visa because they're the best hire for that company, because they have a reason to work them in, then I think that we should as a country try to accommodate that request. So I think we could work out some type of workable system where our industry communicated with government and we were able to issue visas for those qualified individuals that want to stay.
From what you've seen, has it gotten harder to get a work visa?
I think so. It has gotten a little bit harder. One of the changes that occurred is that now the businesses are required to pay the costs of the legal fees for obtaining a green card, for example. And the fact that the businesses have to pay that cost is an extra financial barrier.
A costly and tedious process that can take years, with fees that run into the thousands. Enough of a headache to scare many employers away.
So if they hire someone and they're willing to pay that, it certainly indicates that they really do want to employ that person.
And for Ethiopia's Frignat Anya, Whether she gets a job here or back at home, the experience of studying in the States, she says, will help her no matter where she works.
Yeah, I believe I can be of really good value for that process in the country. So that's what I'm hoping. I would want to get more experience about the international trade aspect and then go there and help my country.
So just from sheer economics, is it in our best interest to have more international students here in the States and possibly more international students working in the States after they graduate?
It absolutely is in our best interest, because when we look at Oklahoma and the friends of Oklahoma and where they'll come from in the future, we're developing them now here at Oklahoma State. I had a fellow from Germany come into my office last year, and he had been an exchange student at OSU 27 years earlier. And he just wanted to come in and tell me that through his entire professional life, he had maintained a connection with Oklahoma. And what a wonderful thing. And so most of the students that go back home are international students. If they do something with the U.S. in the future, they'll try to do it within Oklahoma. And that spells opportunity for our state in terms of economic development, trade relationships, political relationships. Having that population of people that are so familiar with Oklahoma is good for us.
Well, currently OSU has students from 120 countries, with China, India, and Korea making up more than half of those enrolled. And while most will not be able to stay and work in this country, Henneberry says there's still a benefit for both the international students and their classmates. According to Henneberry, working with those from abroad gives American students a good perspective into what is an ever-growing global marketplace.